Accomplishment. Accomplishment can be defined in many ways. As an artist and a humanitarian, Whitney Houston redefines that word every day.
She showed us that you could reach heights that people had never reached before. You can be played on any format. You can be an actress. You can be successful at everything you try to do. So Whitney Houston has definitely opened up a lot of doors, and we have a lot of young women following right after her.
I think that she's, just continued the process started by the Billie Holidays, the Sarah Vaughns, and the great ones. I think that when we look back and we say, the great ones, the great singers, the great songstresses, the great musicians, I think Whitney Houston will be on that list.
After Whitney sings a song, I love to bring the finished record back to the composer. I love to play the record then for the composer, because she finds meaning in the song that the composer never knew was there.
With a voice of grace, soul, power, and determination, Whitney Houston continues to make an unprecedented, far-reaching impact, touching so many people in so many ways. What started in her mom's church in Newark, New Jersey as a little girl has become something truly extraordinary. In more than a decade, she has become an international superstar of unparalleled proportions in the worlds of music and motion pictures. With the release of her self-titled debut album in 1985, Whitney Houston went on to show how unique of a talent she truly is. In fact, her first two albums are the biggest-selling debut albums ever by any artist. And so began her historic feat of 7 consecutive #1 hits, a record that still stands unequaled. Her second album, Whitney, made history of its own, becoming the first release by a female artist to enter the charts at #1. Her third album, I'm Your Baby Tonight, became yet another multi-platinum success story. But nothing could prepare the world for what was about to happen next, the astounding success of the Bodyguard soundtrack album, which has since gone on to become the best-selling soundtrack album of all time. More multi-platinum events were to follow. First, the release of the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack album, becoming a cultural phenomenon. The album, co-executive produced by Whitney, was called the most significant R&B record of the decade by Newsday. Secondly, The Preacher's Wife soundtrack, which Whitney also co-executive produced, has now become the biggest-selling gospel album of all time. Those two movies, along with The Bodyguard, have established Whitney as a universally acclaimed motion picture star. Just recently, Whitney made an illustrious foray into television as star and executive producer of the critically heralded new version of Disney's Cinderella. It became one of the most watched programs in ABC television history. Accomplishment. And yet for Whitney Houston, accomplishment for her has also meant the reward and satisfaction of helping people in need. In 1989, Whitney formed the Whitney Houston Foundation for Children, Incorporated, a non-profit organization whose work assists homeless children and children with cancer and AIDS. Other causes dear to her heart include the United Negro College Fund and the Special Olympics. In 1991, proceeds from her moving performance of the Star-Spangled Banner at Super Bowl 25 benefited U.S. Desert Storm families. Last summer, all of her heartfelt work came full circle when her grade school, the Franklin School, honored Whitney by renaming it the Whitney Houston Academy of Creative and Performing Arts. Whitney Houston, a voice so powerful, a heart so genuine. We can only imagine how she'll inspire us all from this moment on.